Hey there, language adventurers. Welcome to TalkFlow, your go-to zone for leveling up your English listening and speaking skills while diving into real-life topics that matter. I'm thrilled you pressed play today. Whether you're chilling at home, commuting to work, walking through the city, or sipping tea by the ocean, you're here, and that means a lot. Here on TalkFlow, we don't just learn English, we live it. We explore bold ideas, ask big questions, and grow together, one word at a time. Today, we're stepping into a topic that could totally shift how you see your life. Why taking risks is actually one of the most powerful things you can do. That's right. We're talking about risk. Not the scary, dangerous kind, but the kind that opens doors, changes lives, and helps you become the person you're meant to be. You might be thinking, wait, isn't risk something to avoid? Well, sometimes yes, but often risk is where growth begins. Too many people feel stuck in jobs, stuck in routines, stuck in fear. They want to try something new, speak up, change direction. But fear holds them back. I get it. I've been there too. But here's the truth. No risk, no reward, no leap, no flight. And in this episode, I'm going to break it all down for you. What taking a risk really means, why we fear it, and how even small acts of courage can completely transform your life. We'll explore simple examples you can connect to, and I'll guide you through a few practical steps you can take right now to challenge your fears. Maybe by trying a new hobby, starting a conversation in English, or sharing your ideas confidently at work or school. By the end of this episode, you won't just understand risk better, you'll be ready to face it. Because here at TalkFlow, we believe learning English is about more than language. It's about confidence, it's about courage, and it's about creating the life you truly want. So, are you ready to step out of your comfort zone? Let's flow into today's episode and find out why taking risks just might be the best decision you ever make. Let's go. What does taking a risk mean? So let's start by asking a very simple question. What does it mean to take a risk? Many people hear the word risk and think it's something dangerous or something bad, but risk is not always a bad thing. A risk simply means doing something where you don't know the result. It means doing something where there is a chance that things might not go the way you want. But there is also a chance that things might go even better than you expected. For example, imagine you want to try a new food you have never eaten before. You don't know if you will like it. Maybe it tastes strange, or maybe you love it and it becomes your favorite food. That is a small risk. Or think about when you meet a new person and start a conversation in English. You don't know if they will understand you, or if you will understand them, or if you will make a mistake. But you take the risk. And maybe the conversation goes really well and you feel happy and proud. There are small risks like these in everyday life, and there are also bigger risks. For example, changing your job is a big risk. You leave something you know and you go to something new that you don't know. Moving to a new city or country is another big risk. You leave your home, your family, and your friends, and you go to a new place where you have to start again. But with big risks, there is often a chance for big rewards. You can grow, learn, and find new success. Let's take another example from learning English. Maybe you want to join a class or speak up in a group. You feel nervous because you are not sure if your English is good enough. You are afraid people will laugh, or you are afraid you will make a mistake. But if you never take the risk to try, You will never know how much you can improve. Every time you speak, every time you practice, you take a small risk. But that small risk can lead to big improvement. Now, why do some people avoid risks? This is a very important question. The answer is simple: fear. Fear is a strong feeling that stops many people from trying new things. Fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons people don't take risks. They think, what if I fail? What if I don't succeed? What if I look stupid? These thoughts are normal, but they can keep you stuck in the same place for a long time. Another reason people avoid risks is the fear of change. Change can feel uncomfortable because it takes you away from what you know. Even if you are not happy where you are, you might feel safer staying the same because it's familiar. Taking a risk means stepping into something new, and that can feel scary. But without change, it's hard to grow or improve. There's also the fear of judgment. People worry about what others will think if they try something and fail. What will my friends say? What will my family say? Will people laugh at me? This fear can be very strong, especially when you are learning something new like a language or a skill. But here's something important to remember. Most people are too busy with their own lives to judge you, and the people who really care about you will support you even if you make mistakes. So to sum it up, taking a risk means doing something when you don't know the result. It can be something small like trying new food or speaking to someone in English, or something big like moving to a new country or changing careers. People often avoid risks because they are afraid of failing, afraid of change, or afraid of what others will think. But when we understand this, we can start to look at risks in a new way. Instead of seeing them as something to avoid, we can see them as opportunities to grow, to learn, and to experience something new. In the next part of this episode, we are going to look more closely at why people fear risks and why this fear can sometimes hold them back in life. But before we move on, I want you to take a moment and think, what small risks have you taken in your life recently? Was it trying something new? Speaking up in a meeting? Practicing English with someone? How did you feel before and after? You will see that even small risks can make you stronger and more confident over time. Stay with me as we continue this journey together. In the next part, we will explore why people fear risks and how we can start to overcome those fears. Remember, here at Code Your English, we believe that learning a language is not just about grammar and vocabulary. It's about building your courage step by step, one small risk at a time. Let's keep going. Why do people fear taking risks? We talked about what taking a risk means and looked at some simple examples from daily life. Now, let's go a little deeper and talk about something many people feel but don't always talk about: fear. The fear of taking risks. First, let's talk about the fear of failure. This is probably the biggest reason people avoid risks. Failure is when you try something but it doesn't work out the way you wanted. Maybe you apply for a new job and you don't get it. Maybe you speak in English and someone doesn't understand you. Maybe you start a small project and it doesn't succeed. All these things can make you feel disappointed or embarrassed. Because of this, many people think it's better if I don't try at all. That way, I won't fail. But here's the truth. Failure is part of learning. Every successful person in the world has failed many times. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall again and again, but they get up and try again. And that's how they finally learn to walk. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the road to success. Another big fear people have is the fear of change. Change means moving away from what you know and going into something new and unknown. Even when people are unhappy in their current situation, they often stay where they are because it feels safe and familiar. For example, maybe you don't like your job, but you stay because you know it well. You're afraid that if you leave, things might get worse. Or maybe you've always lived in one city and you dream of moving abroad, but you're afraid of how hard it will be to start again in a new place. This fear of change keeps many people stuck, even when they want something better. But here's something important to remember. Change is the only way to grow. When you step into something new, you open the door to new learning, new experiences, and new happiness. There's also the fear of judgment from others. This means you are afraid of what other people will think or say if you try something and fail. Maybe you want to speak in English during a group meeting, but you're afraid people will laugh if you make a mistake. Maybe you want to post your art or music online, but you're scared people will say negative things. Maybe you want to start your own business, but you worry your family or friends will not support you. These thoughts can feel very heavy, and they often stop people from trying new things. But here's the good news. Most people are not thinking about you as much as you think. Everyone is busy with their own problems and worries, and the people who really care about you, your true friends and family, will support you even if you make mistakes. Let's look at some simple examples to make this more real. Imagine a student named Sarah who wants to improve her English. She has the chance to join an online speaking club, but she feels nervous. She thinks, what if I can't understand them? What if they laugh at my accent? What if I make a mistake? These are normal fears. But if Sarah listens only to her fear, she will never join and she will miss a great chance to improve. Now imagine another person, John, who has worked in the same job for 10 years. He is unhappy, but he's afraid to apply for a new job because he's scared of rejection or change. So he stays where he is, even though deep inside he wants something better. These examples show how fear can hold people back even when they have the chance to grow. The good news is that fear is not something that has to control you. When you understand your fear, you can start to manage it. You can remind yourself that failure is a teacher, change is a part of life, and most people are too busy to judge you. You can also take small steps little by little to face your fears and build your confidence. Remember, you don't need to take a big risk right away. Start small, and with each small step, you will feel stronger and braver. So, as we continue, I want you to think, what are you afraid of? What small or big risk have you been avoiding because of fear? And what is one small step you could take to face that fear? Remember, on this podcast, we are not just learning English. We are learning to believe in ourselves. Stay with me because in the next part we will explore why taking risks is so important and how it can help you change your life in amazing ways. Let's keep going together on this journey here at Code Your English. Why is taking risks important in life? We have been talking about the meaning of taking risks and why many people fear them. Now let's focus on something very exciting, why taking risks is so important in life. You see, when we take risks, we open the door to personal growth, new chances, and real success. Let's explore this together, step by step. First, taking risks helps you grow as a person. When you take a risk, you challenge yourself. You step outside your comfort zone, the place where you feel safe, but where not much change happens. Imagine you always do the same things every day. Same job, same activities, same people. After a while, you stop learning new things and your life becomes small. But when you take a risk, like trying a new project, speaking a new language, or traveling to a new place, you push yourself to grow. You learn new skills, discover new ideas, and become stronger. Even when the risk doesn't work out perfectly, you still learn something important about yourself. You become more open-minded and more ready for the next challenge. Taking risks also opens new opportunities. When you take a chance, you allow new things to come into your life. For example, if you apply for a job that feels a little too difficult, you might get the job. Or even if you don't, you might meet someone who offers you something even better. If you join an English conversation group, you might make a new friend who helps you practice more. Life is full of hidden opportunities, but you can only find them when you are brave enough to take a risk. If you always play it safe, you may miss the doors that could lead you to exciting new paths. Another important reason is that taking risks builds confidence and strength. Every time you take a risk, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Let's say you decide to give a short talk in English at work. You feel nervous, but you prepare and you do it. Even if you make a few mistakes, you will feel proud afterward because you faced your fear. That success, even a small one, builds your confidence. The next time you will feel a little stronger and a little braver over time. These small moments of courage make you a much more confident person. Taking risks also helps you learn from failure. We often think of failure as something bad, but in fact, failure is one of the best teachers in life. When you take a risk and fail, you learn what doesn't work. You understand what you need to improve. Imagine you take an English exam and don't pass. Yes, it feels disappointing at first, but now you know where your weak points are and you can work on them. Without that risk, you wouldn't know how to get better. Many successful people in business, sports, art, or science failed many times before they succeeded. What made them special was not that they avoided failure, but that they kept learning and trying again. Finally, taking risks can bring success and achievements. Without risk, there is often no reward. Think about famous inventors, great athletes, or talented artists. They all had to take big risks to reach their goals. They had to risk their time, their energy, and sometimes even their money. But because they took those chances, they were able to create something new, reach big dreams, and achieve great things. In your own life, success might not mean becoming famous, but it can mean achieving your personal dreams. Learning a language, starting a business, moving to a new place, or making a difference in your community. Whatever success means to you, it almost always starts with the courage to take a risk. So, as we finish this part, I want you to remember this. Taking risks is not just about jumping into something crazy or dangerous. It's about carefully stepping out of your comfort zone, trying new things, and opening yourself to the possibility of growth, learning, and success. It's okay to feel fear. Everyone does. But when you take small, smart risks, you make your life bigger, richer, and more exciting. Stay with me because in the next part of this episode, we will talk about how you can start taking smart risks in your own life. I will share some practical tips to help you face your fears and move forward step by step. Here on Code Your English, we believe that you are not just learning a language. You are learning to build a stronger, braver version of yourself. Let's keep going together. How can you start taking small risks? So far, we've talked about why taking risks is important and why do people fear taking risks. But maybe you are thinking, how can I start? I don't feel ready to take big risks. That's okay. You don't have to start big. In fact, the best way to begin is by taking small, safe risks. Let's explore how you can do that. First, it's important to understand that small risks can make a big difference over time. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow or move to another country to take a risk. You can start with small steps that challenge you just a little bit. For example, if you are learning English, a small risk might be joining an online conversation group or speaking English with a stranger at a cafe. If you are shy at work, a small risk might be sharing your opinion in a meeting or offering to help with a project you usually avoid. These are not life-changing moves right away, but they are small pushes that help you grow stronger and braver. Here's another example. Maybe you want to improve your health. A small risk could be trying a new sport or going to a fitness class where you don't know anyone. It feels a little scary at first, but once you try, you realize it's not so bad. Maybe you want to improve your social life. A small risk could be joining a club or event where you meet new people. Even if you feel nervous, you can remind yourself it's okay to take a small risk today, just to practice. Over time, these small actions help you get used to stepping outside your comfort zone. So, how do you handle the fear that comes with taking a risk? That's a very important question. First, remember that fear is normal. Everyone feels it, even people who look confident on the outside. Fear is just your brain trying to protect you from something new or unknown. But here's the good news. You don't have to wait for fear to go away before you act. You can feel afraid and take action at the same time. One helpful tip is to break the risk into smaller parts. For example, if you are scared of speaking in public, you don't have to start by giving a big speech. Start by speaking to 1 or 2 people or by asking a question in class. If you are scared of applying for a new job, start by updating your resume or talking to someone in that field. Taking one small step makes the risk feel less overwhelming. Another tip is to prepare yourself well. Fear often comes from feeling unprepared. So if you are going to take a risk, do your homework. If you want to try something new, learn about it first. If you want to take a chance at work, make sure you understand the task or project. Preparation doesn't remove all fear, but it makes you feel more confident and ready. Also, remind yourself that mistakes are part of learning. Many people avoid risks because they are afraid of failing. But as we talked about earlier, failure is not the enemy, it's a teacher. Every time you take a small risk, you get a little stronger. Even if things don't go perfectly, if you try speaking English and make a mistake, you learn. If you try a new project and it doesn't work, you gain experience. Instead of thinking, "What if I fail?" try thinking, "What can I learn from this?" Finally, celebrate your small wins. Every time you take a small risk, Give yourself credit. Maybe you spoke up in a meeting, joined a new class, or shared an idea with someone. Take a moment to say, "Good job." These small celebrations help you build confidence and make it easier to keep taking risks in the future. So, my friend, remember this. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment, and you don't have to take huge leaps right away. You can start small, take little steps, and slowly build your courage. Here on Code Your English, we believe that every learner, including you, has the power to grow, change, and achieve great things, one small risk at a time. What happens when you don't take risks? We've been talking all about why taking risks is important in life. But now, let's stop and think about something many people don't often ask. What happens when you don't take risks? This is an important question because the answer can help you understand why staying too safe can actually hold you back in life. Let's explore this together. First, when you don't take risks, you can miss many opportunities. Imagine that you want to improve your English, but you are too afraid to practice with other people. You keep studying alone, but you never join a class or speak in real conversations. What happens? You miss the chance to improve faster. You miss meeting new people, learning from your mistakes, and growing your confidence. Life gives us many doors to open, but if we never take the risk to walk through them, we miss what's on the other side. These opportunities don't wait forever. Sometimes they come only once, and if you don't take action, they pass you by. Second, when you avoid risks, you can feel stuck in the same place for a long time. Think about it like this. Life is like a road, and each step you take moves you forward. But if you are too scared to try new things or make changes, you stay in one spot. Maybe you stay in the same job you don't enjoy, or you stay quiet when you really want to speak up, or you keep dreaming but never take action. Over time, this can make you feel frustrated and unhappy. You might wonder, why is nothing changing? But the truth is, change often comes when you are willing to take a risk and try something new. Without that step, you can end up walking in circles going nowhere. Another important point is that when you don't take risks, you limit your personal growth. Remember, growth comes when we challenge ourselves. If you always do what feels safe and easy, you stay at the same level. You don't push your skills, you don't test your strength, and you don't discover what you are really capable of. For example, if you never risk making mistakes when speaking English, you never learn from corrections. If you never risk trying something difficult, you never learn how strong and smart you really are. Growth is like a muscle. It only gets stronger when you use it. Without risks, you don't give yourself the chance to grow. I also want to mention something important about regret. Many people who avoid risks later feel regret because they realize they didn't live the life they wanted. They think back and say, "I wish I had tried that." Or, "I wonder what would have happened if I had taken that chance." Regret is a heavy feeling, and it often comes not from the things we tried and failed at, but from the things we were too afraid to try at all. Of course, this doesn't mean you should take every risk without thinking. It's smart to be careful and thoughtful, but if you let fear control you all the time, you close the door to many beautiful things life can offer you. You lose the chance to build new skills, meet new people, find new paths, and discover your own hidden talents. So, my friend, as you listen to this, I invite you to think about your own life. Are there small or big risks you've been avoiding? Are there dreams or goals waiting for you to take a step forward? Remember, staying safe might feel comfortable, but it also keeps you small. When you learn to take smart, thoughtful risks, you open the door to a bigger, richer, and more exciting life. Real-life examples of taking risks. So far, we have discussed what risk means, why people fear it, and why it is important for your personal growth. But maybe you are still wondering, what does taking a risk actually look like in real life? That's a great question. In this part, I want to share some simple and clear examples of real people who take risks in their everyday lives. These examples will help you understand how you can apply this idea to your own life. Let's start with the first example. A student learning a new language. Imagine you decide to learn English. At the beginning, it feels exciting but also scary. You worry about making mistakes, saying the wrong word, or not understanding people. But you take the risk anyway. You join an English class, you start practicing with people online, and you speak even when you are nervous. Sometimes people may correct you, or you may feel shy, but over time you improve. You learn more words, you speak more fluently, and you become proud of yourself. If you never took that first risk to open your mouth and try, you would never reach that level of confidence and ability. Now let's look at another example. Someone changing jobs. Imagine you have a safe job, but you don't feel happy or challenged. You dream of working in a new field, maybe something you are passionate about, like design or teaching. But changing jobs feels risky. What if the new job is too hard? What if you fail? What if you lose the security you had before? These are normal fears, but people who take the risk of changing jobs often discover that they grow a lot. They learn new skills, meet new people, and find more satisfaction in their work. Even if the first try is not perfect, they gain experience and open the door to better opportunities in the future. Another common example is starting a small business or new project. Imagine you have an idea to open a small cafe, start an online shop, or launch a creative project like writing a blog. Taking the first step feels very risky. You may worry about losing money, wasting time, or failing in front of others. But many successful people started exactly this way with a small risk. They planned carefully, worked hard, and learned from mistakes. Even if the first business or project fails, they gain valuable experience that helps them succeed in the next one. Without taking that first risk, they would never know what they are capable of. Finally, let's talk about speaking up in front of people. This can feel like a small risk, but for many people, it's very scary. Maybe you are in a meeting at work or a class at school and you have an idea or a question. You feel nervous. What if people laugh? What if you say something wrong? But when you take the risk and speak up, you show courage. You share your thoughts. You help move the conversation forward, and you grow your confidence. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Over time, you become someone who can speak clearly, lead discussions, and inspire others. All because you took small risks again and again. These real-life examples show us that risks are not always huge, dramatic actions. Sometimes they are small, everyday choices that push us to grow and improve. Whether you are learning a language, changing jobs, starting a project, or speaking up in a group, you are taking a step toward a bigger, more exciting life. Remember, the goal is not to be reckless, but to take smart, thoughtful risks that help you move forward. Stay with me because in the next part, we will wrap everything up and talk about how you can take what you've learned today and start applying it to your own journey. Here on Code Your English, we are not just talking. We are moving forward, growing and becoming the best version of ourselves. Let's continue this journey together. Final thoughts and motivation. I'm so proud of you for staying with me until now. We've talked a lot about taking risks, what it means, why people fear it, why it's important, and what happens when you don't take risks. Now, I want to leave you with some final thoughts and motivation to help you carry these ideas into your own life. First, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed. Think about your own life and your own journey. Where are you right now? Are you playing it safe in some areas? Are there things you have been dreaming about but avoiding because of fear? Maybe you've been waiting for the perfect time, or maybe you've been telling yourself, "I'm not ready yet." But here's the truth. There is no perfect time. And you may never feel 100% ready, and that's okay. Growth begins the moment you take a small step outside your comfort zone. So take a deep breath, look at your life and ask yourself, what small risk can I take to move forward? I also want to remind you that it's okay to fail. Yes, you heard me right. Failure is not the end. It's just part of the journey. In fact, many successful people will tell you they failed many times before they succeeded. Think of failure as a teacher, not an enemy. Every time you fall, you learn something new. Every time you make a mistake, you grow a little stronger and wiser. So don't be afraid of falling. Be afraid of never trying. Remember, no one becomes great at anything without a few failures along the way. You are allowed to stumble. You are allowed to try again. And here's a positive message I want you to carry in your heart today. You are stronger than you think. Yes, you. You have more strength, more courage, and more ability inside you than you realize. Sometimes we forget this because we only look at our fears and weaknesses. But if you take even one small risk and succeed, or even if you try and learn from it, you will start to see just how capable you are. You will begin to believe in yourself more. Every little success, every small step forward helps build your confidence and reminds you that you can handle challenges. So, here is my call to action for you, my friend. I want you to try one small risk this week, just one. It doesn't have to be big or scary. It can be something simple but meaningful. Maybe you can join an English conversation group. Maybe you can raise your hand in class or at work to share your opinion. Maybe you can apply for that job you've been thinking about. Start a new hobby or reach out to someone you've been too shy to talk to. Whatever it is, choose one small risk and give yourself permission to try. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to succeed right away. You just have to be willing to take that first step. Remember, here on Code Your English, we are all about learning, growing, and improving together. I believe in you, and I know you have what it takes to move forward, even when it feels a little scary. So, as we finish today's episode, I want you to remember life is an adventure. It's full of challenges, surprises, and opportunities. To live fully, you must be willing to take risks, face your fears, and believe in your own strength. You don't have to do it all at once. Just start small. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep moving forward. You are already on your way to becoming the best version of yourself. And that's a wrap, my friend. Thank you for riding this wave with me today on TalkFlow. I'm really glad you stayed till the end because that tells me one thing. You're serious about your growth in English, in mindset, and in life. Today we talked about taking risks, and I hope this episode gave you the little spark you needed. Maybe to try something new, maybe to stop holding back, or maybe to believe in yourself just a little more. That's the goal here at TalkFlow, not just learning English, but unlocking your voice and your courage, one conversation at a time. Remember, every time you press play, you're training your ears, building your confidence, and stepping one step closer to fluency and to the life you want. So don't be afraid to come back and replay this episode. The second or third listen always hits differently. If this helped you today, send it to someone you care about, someone who's learning English too, or someone who needs a little reminder that it's okay to take a chance. And hey, if you haven't already, hit that follow or subscribe button so you never miss an episode. We've got so many exciting topics coming your way, and I'd love for you to be part of the TalkFlow community as it grows. Thanks again for listening, for showing up for yourself, and for being part of this journey with me. You're doing better than you think, and I'll be right here next time to keep the flow going. Until then, stay bold, stay curious, and keep flowing forward. Talk soon, only on TalkFlow.